Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Channel 64. So today I think we're going to go ahead and build my gold farm and piglin bartering hall. It's kind of a tradition that I do that on every single SMP I play on, and I've already laid out where we're going to build that right here. So I've gone ahead and gathered the materials thanks to, of course, our wonderful magma cube farm over there. We've got lots and lots of magma blocks, which will come in handy. So several shulker boxes of those, and then of course other materials. So there's a few farms that are going to be going in right here. Of course, my massive gold farm, which will basically span pretty much the build height. It's gonna be 21 layers, which is bigger than the last time I built it. I think last time I built a 16 layer farm, and it will also have the trading hall on the bottom, and we'll get to that a little bit as well. Then of course, to go along with all of that, in one of these somewhere is going to be a massive bee farm, because the bees do not sleep in the nether, and so I decided that I would go ahead and create one. Now last time I built bee farms that are, you know, they're like six bee nests. This is, you know, a little bit more than that. 21. A little. I kind of went to a few groves, and then I just kept taking bee nests until, well, I have 21 of them now. So that'll pretty much provide us with all of the honey and honeycomb we're going to need for basically the entire season. So that's going to go underneath the AFK spot for our gold farm, and that's actually the best place I've found to put it, especially since we're going to be AFKing this quite a bit to get all sorts of goodies that come out of that trading hall, like gravel, especially since we're building a lot with concrete. We're going to get lots of obsidian, soul speed books will be good, the fire res stuff, what else do we have? Quartz, lots of quartz, and leather and whatnot. So yeah, all the goodies. And then I may actually end up building another farm over here as well. Before I put in like a weeping vine and twisted vine farm as well underneath everything. So I may end up doing something similar as well. I found I didn't really need those that much, so it may hold off on that. But I'm sure we can fit something else over here as well, because this, like I said, this thing is gonna be massive. It's gonna basically span this entire area. So yeah. But before we do all this, I need to actually get some piglins. We may actually start with that. So I need to build another farm for that as soon as I find a crimson forest, which I believe is over in this direction. Yes. So right here. So we're going to build a platform for which they're going to spawn on. And then once we do have those, we're going to capture them in minecarts, name tag them, and then get them up into our holding area. So we're going to basically capture them and kind of keep them hanging out here. And then finally, we're going to bring them over. I think I may actually put some of the gold farm together, because we are going to need to kind of shove 24 into one little spot. And that gets kind of complicated. So let's go ahead and head into that time lapse and build some stuff. All right, so the farm is done. The gold farm, at least, is very much done and very much working. I've already, I think I had, last I checked, 5 double chests already of the nuggets. And that was just from AFKing for a little bit while I ate some dinner and while I was building the farm. So already chugging along. Then, of course, we have our village, or our piglin bartering hall right here. When these would be the piglins that are going to be doing the bartering, our gold inspectors. In hindsight, I probably should just silence them because we have that datapack on here, but I forgot. So I am now going to get them to follow this rail. That's going to take them to a containment area over here. The trick is going to be doing this, you know, basically one at a time, because I'm going to have to lure them up this netherrack staircase into their holding cell where they're going to be, because there's going to be 24 of them in there, which is, you know, of course, the maximum limit that I can put in there without entity cramming. I guess I could put a fence in there as well, but 24 is enough. All right, so let's start trying to move these guys over. Add a powered rail for you. Off you go. Now, we just take our pants off, angering him. And bye-bye. And so they can't fit under this trap door, so they're just gonna stop here. Hopefully we don't kill any of them. They sure don't like nudity. Come on down. Go in the hole. Gonna fall. All right, everybody's in. So let me clean this up and finish adding the last few bits to the farm, and we'll check out how this all works. So the farms are complete. So we have a gold farm, we have a piglin bartering farm, and then we have a newbie farm. And we'll talk a little bit about this since that wasn't really in the time lapse. So starting off with the gold farm here, basically we have lots of different spawning platforms. So there should be a total of about 21. I can't remember whose design this was originally, but I've adapted it so much over the course of the years that I've used this that I don't even know anymore. It's kind of original, but I mean, gold farms have been designed by a lot of people. It's, pretty simple. You have spawning platforms, and then, they aggro towards these turtle eggs, and then, of course, fall on down. So I have 21 layers. I AFK at this spot right here, which is actually just within the spawning radius. So past this block right here is the available spawning area. And then, of course, this is encompassed, the despawn sphere encompasses this entire farm and doesn't quite get to the magma cube farm, which I did actually have to move the AFK spot because it did at one point. So 21 spawning layers, they fall down. Then their drops get split between 4 different sorting systems. So each of these sorts the rotten flesh out, spits it into lava, and then everything else goes into these buffer chests, and then eventually down into the sorting system here. So a good AFK session overnight would probably fill this entire thing up. And then, of course, not only this, you have all of the hoppers in the back. You have the chests right here, which are kind of buffer and overflow. Then, of course, sometimes even going into these hoppers as well. And this is also buffer as well. This side of the farm tends to overflow the most because the center point, since I can't evenly split these up, the center point actually ends up going into that side. So because of that, there is an uneven amount of hoppers, and it just can't keep up with it all the time. It doesn't really cause a lot of loss if it does, but it produces a lot of gold. So I've already taken several stacks of gold blocks worth of gold and going, traded it with them, and already we still have extra gold left over. So the way it works, and we'll kind of show this off. Come down here with our gold. We'll want to converting. It's inside here. We have 24 piglins, all name tagged. I kind of wish I had name tagged them silent so that they wouldn't be talking, but I've turned down their sound so that it's not screaming loud. We put our gold inside here. Give it a second to fill in the droppers. Kind of speed that along a little bit. So there's 3 sets of droppers, which then, when I flip the switch, activates a timer, which then causes a torch burnout clock. So the torch burnout, when you do that, it blinks 8 times. So multiply that by 3, you get 24, which is exactly how many piglins we have in there. So each one gets a gold ingot. You'll see they'll toss all of their stuff in the air, and then it gets pushed out by slime blocks across this into the sorting system. So very efficient, and basically I've been getting lots of things. I've AFK'd this a few nights already, and we've got quite a bit of blackstone. Gravel is going to come in very handy. I couldn't care less about these spectral arrows, but we have them. Lots of quartz, that's always good. Don't really need the iron nuggets, but they're there. Soul sand, we've got lots of that. Nether brick. Pretty much all of this stuff has a few chests full, with the exception of obsidian, because we don't get that very often. Crying obsidian already have quite a bit. And then, of course, way too many potions of fire resistance. And then, of course, we get our soul speed books and soul speed boots. The boots get thrown away. The books, I've already taken out a ton of books, so all of this is kind of garbage. Occasionally, I will disenchant some of these, and some of these potion bottles, usually the water, I'll empty out to fill up the hoppers inside here, although now this farm is full as well. And yeah, so this farm right here is based off of the concepts provided by IanXO4 with his next generation honey farms. So using this, I had originally put this all together as one giant loop. So it actually looped all the way through here. And then, of course, came back around like that. I was having a problem, though, with combining both the shears and the bottles together. It just wasn't really working well. So instead, what I decided to do is split the system in two. So we have this side right here with 12 beehives with 3 bees in each beehive. We've got our honey bottles, and then on this side is all of the honeycomb. This is gonna shear off everything. And so the bees will pollinate based off of these flowering azalea leaves. And then, of course, as this clock kind of goes around and around and around, it will activate the shears if there's something there, and then also help move the honeycomb around until it gets to the sorting system. And so our sorting system's right here. As you can see, it's doing great. No problems there. And then, of course, on the bottle side, like I said, we just fixed it not that long ago. So not a lot in honey bottles, but that's because I've converted them to honey blocks. So already we've got quite a bit. And, you know, looks like we've got about another 18 blocks right there. So not bad, not bad. So this thing is going to keep me with lots of honey, I guess. I'm going to... Probably the honey blocks will come in handy, as well as the honeycomb, especially for waxing copper. So an unfortunate side effect about AFKing this farm is I was able to find some flaws in our previous farms that we had designed. So the Froglay Farm over here, we had all the frogs die. So I had to change the way it is. So now, instead of having this half slab down here and all of the powdered snow right here, I've got the frogs on top of honey blocks so that they don't jump. And then above this, we've got a layer of powdered snow and then these chain blocks. So these vertical chains cause the smaller slimes to fall through eventually, and the larger slimes to basically take damage up here. They can't jump out. So that's what I had to do, because the frogs, I don't know what was going on. I think they were jumping up somehow and falling down and taking fall damage. Because I know as I was setting this up, I kept hearing the frogs kind of like scream as they, well, not really scream, but like, you know, it sounded like they were taking damage from jumping. I don't think that these magma cubes can harm the frogs, so I assume that's what that was from. It had to be fall damage. So with that, they can't jump on honey. So that's going to eliminate that. Also, I didn't put 4 of each frog in here because that's just overkill now. And considering that this farm is still overflowing with, I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do with all this. So I just wanted it to be working at the very least, but it doesn't need to be working well at this point. See, there we go. They fell through, and they get eaten. And then, of course, the honey block being not a full block, everything falls through the hoppers, just like that. Well, with all these farms and everything, I mean, I've got a ton of different things I could be selling, and so I probably need to set up some shops here very soon so that we can go ahead and take advantage of all of this industrial productivity. All right, well, I don't have any more time in this episode, but I want to thank you all for tuning in and checking out the series. Also, thank you for all those subscribers who have watched the video. 500 subscribers. We just passed 500. I am so excited about that. Thank you guys for supporting the channel, and it really just motivates me to keep making more exciting content for you guys. So please support the channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, I highly recommend that you do that. Let's keep the momentum going. But until next time, everybody, safe travels.